forward brings us to line. The strength behind us, holy and divine. The Emperor's light drives us forth, and the titans of God shall end this war.
The Dome of the Rock and the Temple Mount, two iconic landmarks nestled in the heart of Jerusalem, epitomize the convergence of faith, history, and conflict. These ancient structures represent the deeply intertwined narratives of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, standing as powerful symbols of devotion and division. Over centuries, they have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, religious fervor, and the complexities of political control. Today, their significance transcends religion, embodying the very essence of Jerusalem's contested heritage. This video delves into the religious importance, historical context, sources of conflict, and the potential futures of this extraordinary site. Religious significance. The Temple Mount, also known as Haram al-Sharif, is a profoundly sacred site, revered as a spiritual nexus by Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. For Jews, it is the holiest site on earth, believed to be the location of the first and second temples. The first temple, constructed by King Solomon in the 10th century BCE, was central to ancient Jewish worship. It housed the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred chest containing the 10 Commandments, and served as the dwelling place of the divine presence. Tragically, this monumental temple was destroyed by the Babylonians under King Nebuchadnezzar II in 586 BCE, marking a pivotal event in Jewish history. After the Babylonian exile, the Jewish people returned to Jerusalem and built the Second Temple around 516 BCE. This temple stood as a symbol of Jewish identity and religious devotion for centuries. During the reign of King Herod the Great in the 1st century BCE, the Second Temple underwent an extensive and lavish expansion, transforming it into a grand architectural wonder. However, in 70 CE, the Romans crushed a Jewish revolt and destroyed the temple, leaving behind only the Western Wall, which endures as a deeply venerated site in Jewish worship today. The loss of the Second Temple profoundly shaped Jewish theology and practice, emphasizing the site's unparalleled significance. For Muslims, the Temple Mount is known as Haram al-Sharif, or the Noble Sanctuary, and holds immense religious importance. It is home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam, and the Dome of the Rock, an architectural masterpiece completed in 691 CE under the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik. The Dome of the Rock enshrines the foundation stone, which Muslims believe marks the spot from which the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during the Isra and Miraj. This journey, described in Islamic tradition, underscores the site's sacred connection to divine revelation and the Prophet's close relationship with God. Christianity, though considering the site less central than Judaism or Islam, also reveres the Temple Mount for its biblical associations. It is believed to be a place visited by Jesus Christ during his ministry. According to the Gospels, Jesus taught and prayed at the temple and famously overturned the tables of the money changers, emphasizing the sanctity of the temple as a house of worship. These actions highlight its significance within the Christian narrative as a location tied to justice, prayer, and divine intervention. Together, the Temple Mount embodies millennia of religious devotion and historical transformation, serving as a testament to the enduring power of faith across traditions. Its layered significance to Judaism, Islam, and Christianity has made it not only a spiritual sanctuary, but also a focal point of historical and cultural identity. Historical background and shifting powers. The history of the Temple Mount is a rich and intricate tapestry woven with stories of construction, conquest, and cultural transformation. Its prominence dates back to antiquity, when it served as the location of the first and second Jewish temples, the focal points of Jewish religious life. These temples dominated the ancient skyline of Jerusalem until their respective destructions. The first temple, built by King Solomon, was destroyed by the Babylonians in 586 BCE, while the second temple, extensively renovated by King Herod, was razed by the Romans in 70 CE during the suppression of the Jewish revolt. Following the Roman victory, the site underwent significant changes, reflecting the region's shifting political and religious landscapes. Pagan temples replaced the Jewish structures under Roman rule, symbolizing the subjugation of the Jewish population. The Temple Mount later took on a Christian identity after the Roman Empire adopted Christianity in the 4th century CE. The Byzantine Empire built churches and shrines over parts of the area, aligning the site with Christian heritage. However, this phase was dramatically altered with the Muslim conquest of Jerusalem in 638 CE under Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab. This marked the beginning of Islamic control and the construction of new monuments, including the Dome of the Rock in 691 CE under the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik. The magnificent dome, featuring Islamic inscriptions and designs, emphasized the city's new Islamic identity. The Crusader period 1099 to 1187 brought another transformative era. After capturing Jerusalem, the Crusaders converted the Dome of the Rock into a Christian church known as the Templum Domini, or Temple of the Lord. They adorned the structure with Christian symbols and used it for religious ceremonies. This conversion, however, was short-lived. Salah al-Din Saladin recaptured Jerusalem in 1187, restoring Islamic governance. The site remained under Muslim control through subsequent dynasties, including the Mamluks and Ottomans, who maintained and renovated its structures. In the modern era, the Temple Mount became a focal point of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. From 1948 to 1967, Jordan administered the site, restricting Jewish access. However, following Israel's victory in the Six-Day War in 1967, East Jerusalem, including the Temple Mount, came under Israeli control. To avoid exacerbating tensions, Israel allowed the Jordanian Waqf Islamic Trust to continue managing the site's religious affairs while retaining overall security control. This arrangement established the contentious status quo that persists to this day, with restrictions on prayer and access fueling disputes. The Temple Mount's history reflects the ebb and flow of civilizations and religious ideologies. Its enduring significance, rooted in its storied past, makes it one of the most contested and revered sites in the world. Conflict and controversies. The Temple Mount, a deeply revered site for multiple faiths, remains at the center of enduring religious and political tensions. One critical issue is the status quo agreement, established after the Six-Day War in 1967. This arrangement permits Muslims to worship at the site, while allowing non-Muslims to visit under strict conditions but prohibits their prayer. This restriction is a source of frustration for Jews, as the Temple Mount is their holiest site, believed to be the location of the first and second temples. For Muslims, the area known as Haram al-Sharif houses the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, making it the third holiest site in Islam. Jewish claims to the site are often seen by Muslims as a direct threat to Islamic sovereignty. These tensions are further exacerbated by the political symbolism of the Temple Mount. For Palestinians, the site represents a cornerstone of national identity and resistance against Israeli occupation. It is a focal point of their struggle for autonomy and sovereignty in Jerusalem. Conversely, Israel views Jerusalem, including the Temple Mount, as its undivided capital, tying the site to its national and religious identity. This dichotomy frequently results in clashes, particularly during religious holidays or politically sensitive periods. Management of the site by the Jordanian Waqf, in collaboration with Israel, aims to maintain peace. However, this delicate balance is often disrupted by incidents that exploit the site's religious and political significance. The extremist groups on both sides capitalize on its sacred status to incite violence, turning the Temple Mount into a global flashpoint for unrest. The competing claims and the site's symbolic weight ensure its central role in the broader Israeli-Palestinian conflict, drawing international attention and concern. The potential future of the Temple Mount. The future of the Temple Mount hinges on diplomatic efforts and mutual understanding. Maintaining the status quo remains the most practical solution to prevent further conflict, with Jordan's custodianship continuing to play a crucial role. However, there are calls from some Jewish groups to increase access and prayer rights, sparking debates over the site's religious and political future. Shared use or partitioning has been proposed but faces significant resistance due to the site's indivisible nature in religious beliefs. International organizations emphasize the importance of cultural preservation, advocating for policies that protect the site's historical integrity while fostering coexistence. Ultimately, the Temple Mount's destiny will reflect broader developments in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Peaceful resolutions require addressing the underlying issues of sovereignty, identity, and access, balancing respect for diverse faiths with the aspirations of the people who hold this site dear. The Explorer signing off.